In one word, how would you describe the Morse community?
Heart.
Genuine.
Foundational.
Passionate.
Fun.
Protective.
Shipbuilder.
Steadfast.
Hardworking.
Pride. The community.
Family.
Unreasonable loyalty. And it's weird to have gone here and then worked here. It's kind of and have your kids go here. I think I've spent more time in room 217 in this building than I have anywhere else.
And then up those stairs on either side of the stage. And the boys sat on one side and the girls sat on another.
Originally there were windows over there because that was the end of the building.
I mean, any place could be special, I guess, but the people have always made a big difference here.
How many people are going to see this, by the way?
Oh, wow. Let's take one. Lee Bradford, current president. Take
I look over there.
Yes.
So what you're going to do is you're going to hold this open and you're going to say your name, the year you graduated, and your current role in the...
And don't forget the teachers who were here for a long time as part of the Morse story. You're a part of it.
You heard the name of Mr. Hatch, Brian Hatch.
Hadn't been back in years, really. Like, you're excited about it, you love the place.
So who am I looking at? I'm sorry.
The camera.
The camera? Okay.
Yes. Probably just here with the blank wall or...
Yeah. And Mike's good? Yeah. Cool. All right.
See it?
Ready when you are. Ready when you are. Yeah, ready when you are.
All right. You ready? Okay.
It was Bath High School. Yes, there was, first it was a Rudication school, which was a small, square, very small school. And then it was, I think there was a Bath Academy, and then Bath High School was built where the fire station is now. And then when Morse was built, you know, we moved down the street. And then when the school burned, they went back to which was then Central Grammar at the fire station. And then moved back in the next year here.
Hi, I'm Brian Hatch. I graduated from Morse High School in 1968, so I'm ancient. When I was in high school, I was vice president of my class, played on the basketball team and cross country. Was extremely active. My life is I like to be involved. So I've been involved with a lot of things to do with Morse High School. That's my brief introduction. We're very provincial in this community, and part of it is because of its geography. Someone once told me that Bath has the tightest statistic of per capita compared to its geography. In other words, we're very tightly packed in. If you think about the boundaries of Bath, you know, you got the Kennebec River here, and there's North Bath. We run out of real estate quickly up that way. And down here, Winnegans, there's Fitchburg. That's not Bath. You know, you go High Street a little bit, then you go to West Bath, which is not Bath. So we're pretty tight. You think about Brunswick or Thompson, it's just areas and areas. But I think that all leads to this mindset that we have of being tight.
My name is Jonna Stanton,
My name is Brian Stanton.
class of 91 of Morse High School.
Morse High class of 1985.
This will be my 20th year teaching at Morse.
And this will be my 27th year teaching at Morse.
Well, I started teaching because I was at a little private school about 25 minutes north of here, and I wanted to be at Morse because I wanted to give back to the community that had given so much to me when I was growing up.
I've always felt incredibly lucky to come back here. I had a great academic experience here. Not that I got good grades, but
Those are two different things.
Very much so. But I loved being a student here. It's been great coming back.
I think Morse is special because of its community and because of the people that are part of that community, whether it's students or parents or teachers or alumni. I feel like as a teacher and as a parent with kids that are in the schools here, and for our students, it just is such like a large extended family of people. And so for me, even when I was younger, that's always what has made Morse and the Morse community as a whole a special place to be.
They are woven into every single thing that happens at Morse, whether they're putting ads in a program, whether they're donating to some fundraiser, whether they come to watch a sporting event or support Mahiba.
If you shadow for a day and see the type of people who walk these halls and the type of teachers and just that whole community, I think we're on a really good track. Good morning.
Hello. Because of Title IX, starting in the 70s, we actually had girls' sports, but we didn't have much before that. You know what I mean? And a lot of you guys probably don't realize that, you know, we three-peated in basketball states, we four-peated in football states. And I mean, lacrosse is one example. Soccer is another example. I mean, we had boys soccer way before we had girls soccer. I think boys was like in 70 maybe, and girls was in 80. And you know, it took girls and coaches who were into it to make it happen. The other thing, when I was teaching phys ed with Mr. Gray, we had a volleyball club. I mean, we went to Levitt and played, we went to Brunswick, we went to Yarmouth, and this was before volleyball was a school sport.
Ended up
15 years later.
15 years later, back in the same community that we met each other and raising our two kids and coaching for the school that we met at.
I knew I was going to marry her back in high school.
That's so good. Sorry.
Actually, yeah, I think taking turns is actually better.
Okay, yeah.
So say your name in class, and then I'll say my name in class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carrie Staling Reno, class of 99.
AJ Reno, class of 1996.
I'm a field hockey coach for Morse.
I am the Bath Middle School wrestling coach.
Well, staying in Bath was never my plan, but once you're away from a place that puts off such a home vibe, you just want to go back. So for me, I was away for about 5-6 years or so, and coming back to Bath community just brought a sense of home to me.
Same with me. I went to college in Springfield, Mass, and I actually spent a summer with my friend of mine from high school, I think in Reading, Mass, and it just wasn't the same feel. It's like here in Bath that you can go in the grocery store and see 20 people that you know, and some people like that. Some people don't like that. I enjoy it. Anywhere you go, you could probably run into anybody and everybody.
Yeah, I think that people, it's just a sense of wanting to be around the same place, the comforts of what Bath offers.
You said you like the Bath community. Why is that?
The Bath community, first of all, it's small, which I love. I'm not even though we're a city, I love our little city. It's very close knit. I had a very big tragedy in my life when my children were young. My first husband passed away unexpectedly, and he was also a Morse alum, the class of 1981, born and raised in Bath. And this community pulled together like I can't even describe. They were supportive. They reached out to me and my family and just embraced my children. And that to me is more important than anything. And I just couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
There's something about this, if you're here and you're teaching here, it takes hold of you.
I think that it's going to go back to alumni again. I mean, the school and the building in a way, but your memories are really tied to people usually. But when you're raised around here and you're accustomed to the Alumni Association and you're accustomed to all these familial connections, because certainly people always go off, there's people that go off, but there are people that stay or people that return, and that doesn't happen everywhere.
So when I first started working at Morse, the Alumni Association, they basically said, like, here's what you need to know about this Morse community. And they said, in order to really understand us, you need to come to the alumni banquet. And I was like, okay. And I was like, how's that work? And they said, oh, well, you can come and volunteer. You know, you can just get right involved and come and volunteer and bring some kids with you. And so that very first year that I was working here, I went to volunteer at the alumni banquet. And if you've never been, what happens is they do a roll call of the classes. And it starts by the 5-year class coming in. So these students have been out of high school for 5 years, and they walk in, typically a pretty small group. Then it's the 10-year class, and the 15-year class, and the 20-year class, and so on and so forth, until finally it is the I think it's the 50-year class goes, and then the current Morse, I think that's how it is. But the 50-year class, it's like such a big deal. It's a huge group of people. Typically there's some hoopla that's happening. I remember the 1969 class. That was, you know, quite a thing to watch them all come in and with the color and pizzazz. And then when all of the alumni are there, they welcome in the newest alumni, which is the graduating class, the senior class that year. And this happens on the Saturday before graduation. So it's quite a moment for all these high school seniors to come and take part in the banquet. It's sort of their last moment together before they're going to graduate. And it's really a phenomenal thing, and it's hard to put it into words, but the thing that you, as a volunteer, it's like you watch the lifespan just transition. You know, what does it look like to be 5, 10, 15 years out of high school? And this notion that no matter what you do or where you go, and there's exchange students that will come back to be part of the alumni banquet, you have this home base. You know, this is your home port. This is where things started for you. And so, whether you've had hardship that's happened in your life, if you've had loss, or if you've had huge celebrations, it's like your family's here to celebrate that with you. And that's just really special. It does not happen everywhere. And there's really great moments. Like, one of my most favorite moments was one of the first banquets, and there was a graduating class that had lost a member of their class in middle school. And so when they were graduating high school, they were really thinking about this classmate that they had lost. And you could have heard a pin drop in that room when they were trying to speak about him. And the boy who was speaking was starting to tear up. And there was 800 people in that room, and you could have heard a pin drop. And one of the older gentlemen from like the 50-year class, he said, "It's okay, son, take your time." And it's a very special place to be a Morse shipbuilder, and I think that's the thing that really stays with me. And that's sort of the tradition I hope that kids will continue to embrace, is that you can stay connected. High school isn't your end story. You're going to do a lot of amazing things, but your home base is here if you ever need to touch it. It's here.
it's just a special spot. It's a special place that will always be dear to my heart. And even though we're moving on to a new school, I will never forget 826 High. Never.
Hi!
You want to tell us what we're looking at?
What you were looking at? Let me tell you what you're looking at. You are looking at 19 years of wisdom and fun in here. There's everything. One box is labeled grouse, alligator, and anaconda shed. Wow. The skin. It's kind of crazy saying goodbye, isn't it? We've been so busy that today's kind of the first day I've had to even really think about it. And it gets you kind of, it gets you a little sad because you spend your waking hours for 19 years in this glorious room. And not to have that reassurance is my second home. I mean, Morse is my second family. So it is sad to say goodbye, but it also is very exciting because the heart of Morse is going with us, which is nice. It's kind of like the snakeskin. We're just going to shed this exoskeleton here, and we're going to end up into a new one. So that has like running water and electricity and, you know, windows and stuff like that. So it'll be good.
At the new Morse High School, there's going to be a lot of invention and a lot of creativity, and I think you're going to find that inside too. It looks nice now, but it needs the human element. It needs some more adaptation. It needs a little magic and a little crazy provided by the people to make it feel like home. Okay, David Ingmanson. I taught here from 1980 till now, 41 years. Yep. You got what you need. We would gang old desks together because we didn't have much money, and to run the wiring we screwed in plastic rain gutters behind all the desks. So they were all screwed together, all the wires ran in a trough behind, and then there was one connection to the internet and the outside world through this building, and that was a computer lab. I was teaching here on a very hot spring day, and I was turned facing this way, and I hear, "Hi, Mr. Ingmanson," and it's a voice that doesn't sound like it's coming from in the room. And it was my old friend Eddie Strozier, who was a former student, who had climbed up the bricks outside, just one after another, and he stuck his head in the window and said, "I just want to see how you're doing here." Now that's a good drop from here, but every 10th brick or something is set in a little bit so you can get a purchase on it and you can walk up the side of the building. And I said, "Ed, what are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I'm going to leave now. I just wanted to come say hello." And he looked down and he realized, easier to get up than to go back down. Another thing I'll tell you, it surprises me, but Isabel, this is true. I don't miss this place that much. All right? I have a lot of nice memories, but I don't miss it. And I thought about ways I can justify that. It's not because I didn't like it. I think sailors would understand this because ships are meant to move forward.
People have their passions from what they experienced at Morse High School, that being the theater or athletics programs, or their vocational program that they did at Bath Tech, or all these different aspects of it, and they really came out to support and make sure that we have really the cutting edge facility for our students going forward. Even despite most people were mourning the loss of this old building and how special it is, and myself included to a certain degree, I will miss this building, but really supporting like the next step at Morse was tremendous.
Do you fear that moving into the new school, we may lose those traditions?
It could happen very quickly. If we didn't have the people that we had in this building, look, these traditions happen because people choose, free of charge, at great time, personal time and expense, to make that happen. And they continue it year after year after year after year. If we didn't have the people in this building, many of whom graduated from this institution, if we did not have the kind of people we have in this building right now, I would be fearful. Because it would be very easy to let it go. Good God, let it go. It's too much work. But the people that we have in this building won't let it go. So I know for a fact we won't lose things like that. Because if something is taken out and it's not replaced, it's gone.
Take two. First portion of the interview. Sunday.
You know, and Morse isn't just a building. Morse is, it's a spirit, it's an aura, it's a presence that you have because you were part of something that was so big when you were here, and you felt it. And you felt it when you went out and somebody said, oh, you're one of the seniors. Or you go somewhere else and you're wearing a Morse shirt and, oh, you went to Morse, you came from Bath. People recognize that. They recognize that we are special. And even though Morse graduates walk through the line and you get your diploma like everybody else in June, and you're just like all the other graduates, you're not. We are very different people because we have that spirit, we have that presence.
The other piece is how we do reunions and the Alumni Association part. And I didn't know this was different until I got talking to people, because keep in mind, I grew up here, graduated from here. I went 4 years to Orono. I ended up teaching across the river the year after I got out of Orono. And I've been here ever since. But I realized that in many other communities, like class reunions, they're done whenever they can have class reunions. Like one class, the 25-year class might say, we'll have our reunion on July 15th, and a 50-year class might say, we'll have ours on August 10th. Ours are always at the same time. And that brings everybody together.
We can come back home every 5 years when all of the reunion classes are here together and there are activities going on. The town is decked out in blue and white. People are always checking your shirt to see what year you graduated, or checking to see, you know, are you the graduate or is your spouse the graduate? It's the talk of the town. And no matter where you go, no matter where you wind up, you know you can always come home every 5 years and you'll be welcomed with open arms.
Okay, my advice is to go to your reunions. And I was not a class officer or anything, but when I graduated and came back for our 5th year, nobody really wanted to step up and to help do it. And so I helped a class officer that was involved in it get everyone to come back. And every year we try to get a little bit more, because it just keeps you connected. You get to see all these familiar faces and catch up with people. So go to your class reunions, they're really fun.
Priscilla and J. Pat Montgomery. So, I mean, he was called Pat, but they were Mr. and Mrs. M. And lots and lots of people are able to tell their own stories about them. But they were a powerhouse couple. She was the artistic director and he was the technical director. And they were, she was tough. She made you work for it and made you be serious. But it was a tough love situation with her, you know. So, and Mr. M was sweet and a little more mild-mannered, just kind of back there and got the work done. He had a great little sense of humor, though. You can kind of see him chuckling. I had written a poem from my perspective of walking down the hallway during a school day and thinking about the theater piece. And I gave that poem to Mr. and Mrs. M as a gift at the cast party, and they kept it. They lived across the street, which other people may mention. It was always really easy to pop over there, and they had a little room that had posters and props and things, and it was kind of a little homage to shows that they'd done over the years in community theater and high school. And they put that little frame up with that poem there. And Mrs. M passed in the early 90s. Mr. M moved away, and I don't know who did it. I don't know if it was Mrs. M or Mr. M or one of their kids, but when I came back for my 25th and was touring backstage after our theater breakfast, that poem is on the stage door. As you go out the stage door into the hallway, it's somebody put it on the door that I talk about in the poem.
The house is open. The whisper of a frantic crew member, "Where's the Jell-O for Act 1?" I swallow and search my mind, checking hazy lines or forgotten props. My arms tingle and stomach churns. I take a deep breath and smile with a tensely excited rush as I put my hand on the cold knob and turn.
And it was really kind of cool to think about decades of other Morse thespians seeing that poem and connecting with it.
That was one of the things that reinforced the idea that Morse has something different, something special. She said, "Do you want to paint something big?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Okay, go down to Rogers Hardware and get a big board and some trim that you could make a frame for it." And so, like, middle of the day, I was probably supposed to be in English or something. I just got in my car and went down to Rogers Hardware and got the stuff for it, a bunch of paint and everything. And then I came back and I started working on it, and nobody gave me a hard time. She asked me to paint that leaf. I'd never painted anything before. So I painted that leaf, and it looked different from the other leaves. So I ended up repainting all the leaves. And I think she was just trying to keep me busy, maybe, I don't know. But I repainted all the leaves, and then she said, "Okay, are you ready for a big one?" And I said, "I guess." And she said, "Okay, the whales need to be done." And so this used to be, somebody had painted, I think it was 2 whales, very faint, like watercolory looking. And there was like a land line. I don't know if you know about Weiland, the artist. He was big in the 80s. He used to do whale paintings where the tail would come up out of the water or whatever. So you'd see landing, you'd see water. So somebody had done something like that where there was land across the top. And she asked me to touch it up to make it look better. And I said, "I don't want to touch it up. I want to paint the whole thing." And she said, "Okay." This one is where I realized that I wanted to paint. And so I still paint. And it's because I enjoyed this a lot.
My memory started way back when I was a youngster, attending Morse High School basketball games in the pit with my dad. Then from there, I was fortunate to be in the first 7th grade class at Bath Junior High then. So we attended 3 years there and only spent 3 years at Morse High School itself. Of course, the building was much different. It was the original 1929 school without the additions on both sides. And I couldn't tell you how much Morse High School meant to me.
Because my parents graduated from Morse, my brother graduated from Morse, and my dad was a coach. He coached basketball and golf. And so I was always within the Morse community since I was little. And I'll never forget, I put it actually in my graduation speech. But my mom, when I was little, I was like looking around at a game. I can't remember what game we were at, but I was looking around and I'm like, what song are they singing? Mom, what is that? What are they singing? And she's like, it's the school song. You need to know it or you will not get into high school. So I memorized it and I was probably 7. So I've always known the blue and the white. Blue, white.
I think, and I have said this many times, this isn't an answer I just came up with for this, that Morse High School has the best mascot of any school that I've ever even heard of. Because I think the shipbuilder is not only a reflection of the community, like it actually has something to do with the community. Sometimes it's annoying to me sometimes when like the high school's mascot is an animal that has nothing to do with the area or has no relationship, but I mean, whatever, that's fine. But Morse has something that is a reflection of the community, and it's about creating, coming together, teamwork, as opposed to destroying, which oftentimes is the sort of spirit behind a mascot. When I first started working here, I didn't start at the beginning of the school year. I started right around the time of Spirit Week, and I was absolutely astounded by the amount of school spirit. Like, it seemed like what I've seen in movies.
So Spirit Week has been a tradition for quite some time, and it was kind of a spin-off of homecoming. I was a cheerleader when I was in high school, so that was always, pep rallies were always a big deal for us. And there's just no other school that has a pit. And there's no other feeling than having a pep rally in the pit. So that I'm gonna miss.
Look at the camera and then close it.
Bill Haggett, the class of 1952. First off, I am married to a Morse High School classmate. And she ended up being president of the class and salutatorian of the class. She's as involved in Morse High School as a graduate as anyone I know. She served 10 years on the school board in Bath, working with all of the educational institutions in Bath, and so I live with a Morse High School graduate, and in a few months we will have been married for 65 years.
Great-grandfather, grandmother, mother, and myself, so 4 generations.
We've had many family members walk the halls of Morse, and it's been very special for all of us.
It was especially exciting, as a freshman, knowing that I'm walking the same halls that my parents did. I'd walk to school with them, and they'd show spots where they used to hang out between classes.
I think my children, I also had grandchildren that attended Morse. My children had good experiences here.
You just mentioned real quick, because you both mentioned this in your previous interviews, just tell us what the golden year was.
Oh, our golden year. Yeah. So this was his coinage. So I'll let you talk about the golden year.
We obviously teaching here, and you have little kids. You want them. You think at least in the back of your mind that they're going to come to the school and go to your school. And our kids during winter, just about any day during vacation, they were in the hallway in like a big wheel or throwing balls around. We played at the school all the time. So we just kept looking forward to when they came here. And so the golden year was a senior year when Peyton was a senior and Sid was a freshman. And it was the most fun. It was 2014,
special.
2015.
Yeah.
I loved having our kids here. It was really just the best. That's probably what I miss. If there's anything that I miss the most, it's having them. And
it was weird when they both graduated. It was like that was a new era.
Here, let me help. How are you today?
Hello. Is this the alumni room?
It is. This is the alumni room.
Nice. You got my banner.
I do. Got your banner and got your yearbook.
But that looks new. Is it the same old one?
It's the same old one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The green has
been
faded.
in storage for quite a while.
The green has faded. Great. Hello. Don't ask me too many complicated questions. My memory is not as good as it was. Morse High School certifies that Virginia Etta Kingsbury, that was my maiden name, has satisfactorily completed the commercial course of study prescribed by the Board of Education for the high school and has passed the required examination with honor and is therefore entitled to this diploma. And it was signed the 50th day of June 1938 by the Superintendent John Parker, Horace Herrick, and the city manager, I think at that time, was Donald Small. It might be my last chance to see it, I don't know, I hope not. And I heard so much about it and read so much about what they were doing, I keep track of it. And it sounded so good, I said, I hope I can get to see that. And somebody told me, you will, I'm sure. And my wish has come true today.
Good morning, Morse. It is safe to say this is a significant morning in the history of Morse High School, and you are all a major part of that history. As we all know, the original Morse burned in 1928, and the building that we know, love, and just left behind was constructed in 1929. Nearly a century later, I would argue that we, once again, have the finest schoolhouse in the state of Maine. I find myself wondering what the first students of our previous high schools were thinking on their first days in their new schools. This building is a testament to the support of our local communities. Taxpayers and donors have made this a very impressive building possible for you. Please take a look around and know that this building shows how important the adults in this community feel that you are, and how much they want for you to find success in your academic goals. Please take pride in this building. It is your school. Have a wonderful first day.
Okay, ready? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Wait, the first question we should ask is the one, so we can find it.
Okay. Yeah, so
If you could describe the Morse community in one word, what would it be?
you don't have to answer it quite yet, but do you have one word you would use to describe the Morse community?
In one word, how would you describe the Morse community?
How would you describe with one word your time at Morse? So, what is one word each of you would describe the Morse community with?
So you can either answer it now or answer it later. It's just...
You can't do that.
That's a question.
Yeah, that's a question.
I gotta think about that.
I'm gonna give you two different things.
If you could describe the Morse community in one word, what would it be? The Morse community in one word. If you want to say two, you can say
Can it be like, can I have like a hyphen?
Describe the Morse community in one word, what would it be?